Jackson brought it up as far as the gas allowance for constables. Is that something the court wants to address?
Well, they're all different, Judge.
He's actually talking about deputy constables.
Yeah, his deputy constable he's talking about. And Ms. Wilson would have to really explain this.
They are kind of different. And he just left, but what Constable Jackson was talking about, he has 2 full-time deputy constables. And each of those full-time deputy constables are stand to receive, which is what he asked for originally, $2,000 in travel allowance. Now, they drive their own vehicles. So, you know, I think he has a valid point that that might not be sufficient, but you might want to consider, rather than giving these deputy constables travel allowances, which is just in addition to their salary, we may want to take this out of the salary portion and put that into travel reimbursements. And that actually requires that they fill out mileage logs. So if they're actually working in the capacity from which they're paying, you would pay them at the state mileage rate, which is what the county mileage rate is. You could do one or the other. That way it's just not on top of their salary.
I think that's what we should do.
Well, and I thought the apartment complexes was going to reimburse us.
That's different. Those are different. They're in a separate fund and everything. These are his 2 full-time deputy constables that he has for precinct 1 that have nothing to do with the community policing.
And bear in mind, he basically actually serves more cases than the rest of the constables do. And so that's why he's actually asking for additional gas. Actually, the chief wanted to give him. And, you know, I don't know. It's his office. I can't tell you how it runs and what we should do, but he needs to be in here to discuss that.
Well, and they do deliver more papers. They serve more papers than anybody else. So, in my mind, how do you know if 2,000 is right? Unless you base it on, or whatever number it is. And then, you know, we can't just arbitrarily say, okay, 2,000 is enough, so let's go to 2,500. That's what I say. If it becomes a travel reimbursement and it's based on actual cost, then we know.
Well, and the travel reimbursement is also designed to compensate them for the other wear and tear on their car as well, the replacement of tires. Those are all at their expense. So they would get, I think it's going, the mileage rate, I believe, is going up to 48.5 September the 1st. So as they have to turn in logs though, and it becomes an accounts payable process rather than a payroll process.
Wouldn't they, in reality, wouldn't they wind up with the potential for more money available
Personally,
to
I believe it's
them?
more to their benefit because
Right.
it puts more back into the wear and tear of their vehicle than
Correct.
just a simple travel allowance on top of their paycheck.
Plus, you don't have everything coming out.
Plus, the county's not matching the payroll tax
Right.
associated with it.
Right, so it's a little bit better for us too.
And I wouldn't have a problem with that, but I think we should
I think
discuss
that's
it in
fine.
front of him.
Yeah, but all of your constables are not doing that. I mean, you've got a little bit of mix and match going on. So.
Yeah.
Sure. Standardizing that would be good too.
Mr. McGinnis, do you want to take that project on to standardize?
Not
the
right now,
hospitals?
Commissioner, no, but just an aside.
Many have tried, sir. You might be successful.
I seriously doubt it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, if I do. No.
Would you like for me to move on?
You can move on, I guess we can take that up if he's able to catch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next stated item that you wanted to discuss was the juvenile board supplements. I believe you've all received a letter of justification from Judge Kent. It's quite lengthy, and the history of the juvenile board and the responsibility and the length of time since any adjustment's been made. Those were in your proposed budget. So there's been no changes that are already included in your proposed budget.
Well, I personally didn't have a problem with it. I saw it in the budget.
Well, it was absolutely in the papers that Ms. Wilson handed us the day that we were in here, the one budget workshop that we had. I have a problem with it because of the percentage. I don't mind going up on it, but we're going from 30% to 33% for salary supplements, and then 39% increase on travel allowance. And since we just got done talking about travel allowance for the constables, to go from 1,800 to 2,500, I think it's excessive, and it sends the wrong message to some of the other elected officials who have to ask for travel reimbursement, and it sends the wrong message to the employees. So I'm happy to say 6%, I even go 10%, but 33% and 39% I can't support. And I'm happy, I like what Judge Kent said, and they've certainly done some good things, but I think that's expected.
Ms. Wilson, can you just explain to me how you arrived at your total?
And can you put that on
What do you want me to put up there?
what we're talking about?
You want the salary portion up there, or
Or we can-
or just the juvenile board
let-
itself?
The whole juvenile board. Constable Jackson, can we take your matter up in just a second, or do you need to go?
No, I'm okay, Judge.
Okay.
Okay, the juvenile board itself is right here, and you see that the budget is just, there's not a lot of expense associated with juvenile board, because this part below here is actually what funds part of the juvenile department. The actual juvenile board is this part that the cursor is sitting on. It's only going from 92 to 124. Some of the, also, it might be a time to mention, I think I mentioned it earlier, Senate Bill 600 addresses the way we have to pay the county court at law judges. We have to bring the county court at law judges up within a minimum of $1,000 from the district judges. District judges are maxed, their salaries are maxed, so they're not just open for you to throw whatever money you can at them, because you just can't do that. Once, if you were to do that, what would happen is the state would then peel back from them. So they do have a max, and they're close to it, but they're not there. So this just gives them a little bit of an adjustment up towards that max. Now, Senate Bill 600 came in and said that you will pay your county court at law judges within $1,000 of your district judges, and that includes all allowances and supplements. So there has to be an adjustment in order for us to comply with Senate Bill 600 for the county court at law judges. Now, the good part of Senate Bill 600, which doesn't happen very often, but there's actually money associated with it. Right now, we get $35,000 supplement from the state for each county court at law judge. With the passing of Senate Bill 600 and you shall raise the salary, once we raise the salary up, the county will now get $75,000 back from the state per county court at law judge. So that's an additional $120,000 that will come back to the county associated with Senate Bill 600 that we have not had in the past. So that actually is part of the reason why some of the adjustments to the county court of law judges must be made, and they're a little bit different.
Ms. Wilson, does this reflect what we had discussed with the juvenile board secretary?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Because in the original proposed budget, it did not include, I think originally the salary was $2,500, and I asked Ms. Wilson to put in a proposed amount.
To $3,500, it does, what you see up there does. I actually have to, by statute, I actually have to log any changes to the proposed budget, so I kind of keep a running tally of that. Might be a good time to talk about some of those, but
So before we go any further, you're saying that it's gone from 1,800 to 2,500 to 3,500?
No. He's talking about two different things. The 2,500 is what it is. That hasn't changed. The only thing that has changed from the proposed budget is the supplement to the juvenile board secretary. It went up $1,000. It was left out of the proposed and was put in after the fact. These are the changes that have happened since the proposed budget came out. A little hard to see up here. Basically, as I came through and did another revenue estimate, I've adjusted the revenues up about $250,000. Most of those are in fines and fees that are coming in pretty good. The other adjustments on here, some of them are just a matter of cleaning up some longevities and whatnot. Let's see if there's anything substantial. We added, the court added another liaison officer out at Lindale, so that was included in here. That's one of the largest adjustments.
But that's being reimbursed by Lindale, right?
It's being reimbursed, so I have the revenue offset.
This $42,000 for the part-time for the JPs, that's because of the legislation changing where they can
It is.
hear
That's-
court cases
yes.
that are now instead of 5,000.
Instead of 10,000,
their
they've
cap
gone
is
to 10,000. So what we've done here to address that is, rather than just jumping right out and adding a full-time employee, in each one we put in a part-time
Right.
or some more part-time, each one of them got